Everybody, we're back to Starting Out Solitary, and we're talking about witches in media, like our favorites, what we think about it. So when we're talking about like witches in media, we're talking about like movies, TV shows, stuff like that. Um, it could range from the traditional idea of a witch, which would be like Disney movie witches, or Wizard of Oz, where they're like green skin, ugly, wear pointy hats, and then there's things like The Coven, American Horror Story, where they're just looking normal and they have powers. And I will say that show probably has the most dynamic cast of witches because it wasn't just a bunch of white pretty girls. It was a lot of white pretty girls, but it wasn't completely. With Hocus Pocus, where it's older haggish ladies, and then there's Charmed, where they're pretty and young, and The Craft, of course, which is one of my favorite witch movies, which again has kind of a dynamic um, cast. It's not just all white and pretty, they're all kind of interesting in their own right. Uh, what do I think about it? Usually they're media-wise traditionally hot women with like that are portrayed as sexy, um, that a lot of times magic is used to get the men interested in them, or fight these demons and whatnot, which don't exist. At least I don't believe they exist. Or they're very ugly and evil. Or you could have both in the same show. um, but I think when most people see witches in media, they're either super scary or like super sexy. And they could potentially be both, but a lot of times if they're scary and sexy, they're the evil ones, not the good ones. Um, you don't generally see what is realistically um, a witch. Now, I can use True Blood as an example. They had a season that had a lot of witch stuff in it. Um, Other than the extremes that the show went to with the evil witch, um, God, what, I can't remember the blonde chick's name, but she was Wiccan, and she would talk about herbs and just basic, just what is more commonly real in people's practices. And even with the evil witch, before it got super crazy, um, they were showing more traditional practices, and their coven was all ages, all skin color, just rising or rising energy. I'm having a hard time talking today. So that in some ways was a little bit more accurate, but you don't generally see that, or if you do, it's just like it's negligible. So that's kind of my view on it, and I do wish they would have more witches of the reality in shows, but it wouldn't probably be as interesting, and that's most likely why they continue to bring the stereotypes of the sexy witch or the ugly evil witch into media. So that's it, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.